Welcome back to the Full Sport Press podcast. I am Peyton.
I am Zach.
And let's just hop right on into this with our what we saw. Now, my what we saw is heading over to the Braves series. Yesterday, they played on Peacock and NBC in the new Sunday leadoff game is what they're calling it.
Really?
Every Sunday at 11:30, that game will start.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty early. So they played the Orioles in the last game of the series, and they were tied 1-1 in the series and in the game going to extra innings. Got to 2-2, and then in the 12th inning, bottom of the 12th, I don't know if you know the new rule of baseball. Every extra inning, they start with a man on second now already.
I feel like I remember you saying that once. Yeah.
So they have a man on second already. They decide to walk Marcell Ozuna to first. So now there's first and second, brings up Michael Harris, and he hits one to the wall for the win in extra innings to win the series against the Orioles. And he even said something about after the game about how they walked Ozuna and decided to let him hit instead. And he took that personally, decided to walk it off against the Orioles.
Good.
I think it was like fitting into a good series for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that you said they played the Braves, right?
The Braves played the Orioles.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that the Braves beat the Baltimore team. I've got some skin in that one. All righty. Well, what I saw was actually perfect timing because I was struggling to find something, and then today, in the last hour, a little nugget just dropped on my lap. Benedict Mathurin made the all-rookie first team. He is player for the Indiana Pacers. If you don't know, truly positionless. On my fantasy team, which I was lucky enough to have him on, he was listed as a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and if you wanted, you could put him at power forward. So the only place you couldn't put him was center. But he truly balled out this year. He had a very great start and middle. Then by the end, the Pacers slowed down. He slowed down. But altogether, he averaged 16.7 points per game, 4.1 rebounds per game, 56.6 true shooting. He averaged 28.5 minutes a game for a rookie. That's pretty good. So good job, Benny.
All right. Sadly, the Hornets had no one make that. Mark Williams got 2 second place votes, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then or 2 second team votes, I should say. Then we have our game of the week from last week. And I had the Orioles Braves game 2, which was on Saturday. It was a good game, back and forth throughout. And in the 8th inning, the Orioles are up 4-3. Kevin Pillar for the Braves hits a 2-run home run to put them up 5-4. And that was all she wrote. That was the game. Ended up winning the game for the Braves.
Nice. Mine was F1 Miami, and not gonna lie, it was kind of boring, but there were some interesting things that did happen. One is the Max Verstappen show. He started in the 9th and won with a 5-second lead. It's just insane that he went from 9th all the way to first. He has now tied the Red Bull wins record at 38, and he got called up in 2016, and he has not been racing in F1 for that long. So pretty crazy. It seems like Red Bull is going to run away with the title, but all the drama is under that. You had I know Sainz and Leclerc. I can't say his last name right ever. They're on the same team. They had a little bit of a issue, and then Fernando Alonso is still getting points. He's steadily getting podiums. So that's what happened. That's what's happening in F1.
I do have to say, I tried to watch a little bit of it, and it's just not for me. Same thing with NASCAR. Racing doesn't do it.
It wasn't a good race. You got to have one that's drama-filled. That's the issue.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. All righty.
Next segments.
Yes, I do. So I just want to talk about the match since it was announced last week. literally all I'm going to say is it is on June 29th at 6:30. It'll be in Vegas like the last few have been. So mark your calendars for that. And they have decided to go with the theme of Champions Duel, and that looks like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce versus Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So put that on your calendar. Not going to talk about it again until it happens. Make sure you watch it because it's going to be good. The match is always good.
That is golf, correct?
It is.
Okay, there we go.
It is golf done so much better.
All right. And I believe you have the next segment as well. I do.
I'm trying to get these times down.
I have not watched before.
Yeah. So my next one is AUDL. It is the American Ultimate Disc League. I have known about this league since like middle school. There was a YouTuber I used to like, a tech YouTuber named MKBHD, who he actually played on a team like in Philly or maybe DC possibly, but he would talk about it all the time. So that's kind of how I knew about it. I was just lucky enough Wednesday to turn on the TV, and at 5:30 it was on. I got to see the DC Breeze versus the Carolina Flyers. It started out as a blowout. The Breeze were just running away with it, but then Carolina kept coming back and kept chipping away, but then they would keep just giving it away. Like, just in Ultimate, if you don't know, if you throw it and it's dropped by your team, it's a turnover. It's not like they have to come intercept it. If it hits the ground, it is the other team's disc, and they go automatically. So yeah, it's tough to get something going when you just keep tossing it and dropping it. But that's kind of what happened for Carolina. They stayed in it. They lost 21-16. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Just to say, this week and over the next few weeks / months, we'll be kind of introducing some new stuff, probably trying some new stuff out, because we are getting to a point where soccer's almost over, NBA is almost over, and
that'll carry
we'll
us for another month and a half.
Yeah, we'll get to there. Football will start getting a little more interesting once training camp starts, and stuff like that. But we are going to try some new stuff, maybe talk about some different sports, like Ultimate Frisbee, NCAA Lacrosse, we have talked about before. But this week, they released on Sunday the bracket for the men's tournament starting on Saturday and Sunday this coming weekend. So let's go through the bracket, what some games to watch, teams to watch going into it. All these games are on ESPNU, so all on the same channel, pretty easy to find. So first off, starting at the number 1 seed, the Duke Blue Devils. They went 13-2 this season. They are the number 1 seed, and they're facing either Delaware or Marist playing game on Sunday, and that'll be at 5. And then also on Sunday, Cornell, the 8 seed against Michigan. That'll be at 2:30 on Sunday. Then the 5 seed Penn State faces off against Princeton at 7:30 on Sunday. And then on Saturday, we got the 4 seed Maryland versus Army. And that'll be at Saturday at 7:30. Then Notre Dame, the 3 seed, facing off against Utah, which I'm pretty sure is a newer team to Division I lacrosse. I don't know if I've ever seen them in the tournament before. But yeah, so they'll face Saturday at 2:30. And then Sunday at noon, we got number 6 seed Johns Hopkins versus Bryant. And then finally, the 7 seed on Saturday, Georgetown versus Yale at 5. And the 2 seed at noon on Saturday, Virginia versus Richmond. That's a little in-state rivalry there, Virginia versus Richmond. Now, going into this, obviously Duke, the 1 seed, is going to be the top team to beat. But the ACC teams are definitely ones to watch. They have the top 3 seeds in Duke, Virginia, Notre Dame. Johns Hopkins, always a team that's really good. And other than that, I mean, everyone else I'd say is a pretty good dark horse. Those are the biggest teams I've heard about. Maryland usually has a pretty good team as well. So if you're interested in that Saturday and Sunday, it'll be pretty interesting. Once it gets to the tournament, for sure, it'll be some good games.
Are we talking about Johns Hopkins, like the medical university?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
They are a huge lacrosse school. Huge lacrosse school.
It's really weird. Don't know how they find the time. But cool.
All right. Well, think about it. It's funny looking at the lacrosse schools. It's almost like the academic institutes are like the top teams. Duke, Johns Hopkins, Princeton, Yale, all in the tournament. Cornell, all in the tournament. Like, because I remember when I first started, I like one of the best teams in the nation was Cornell. They had probably the best player ever in college lacrosse play for them. So it's like teams you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like the big teams aren't the same big teams in basketball or football and stuff like that, which makes it kind of interesting. Like I don't think you normally would see a Cornell Michigan matchup and expect Cornell to win that.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to our next topic. Not much to say here, but
Nope.
Kentucky Derby.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched it. It lasted. Did you watch it?
No,
It
I was in the
lasted
car.
literally.
So
It lasted 2 minutes. Like it, not even
yep.
2 minutes really. I had some free money on FanDuel, so I was like, you know what? I can bet now. Let me go ahead and put down some stuff on the ponies. I don't even know who I bet on. Confidence game, and I ended up losing. He was 17-1 odds, but the winner ended up being Mage, who was 15-1 odds.
Ooh.
And that's all I got to say.
We'll just say me and Zach have experience betting on horses, maybe virtual horses on GTA with fake money.
We're successful though.
We had a winner one time. What was it?
Hey,
we won
it was
a good bit of chips. So.
A lot. I went with my same strategy of you don't want to go the lowest odds and you don't want to go highest. I went with the middle. And Champions game was 17-1. Below him there was like 28, and I think there might have been a 30. But of course I couldn't take the 9-2. I'm like, come on, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
I had the right idea, just the wrong horse.
Sorry. Exactly. That'll probably be the first and last time we discuss horse racing. All right, moving on to the MLB. Just a couple quick notes. First off, the Pirates have fallen off hard. They've lost their last 7 games, and now are 20-15. They were 20-8. You hate to see it. Dodgers finally looking like the team that was expected, sitting atop the NL West. The Braves still dominant. They are 7 games up in the East, so that is a huge lead for this point in the season. The Rays still 28-7 somehow. They don't seem to be slowing down at all. And other than that, there's some pretty bad divisions. The Central in both National League and American League, pretty rough right now. But let's go ahead and go over the power rankings this week from MLB. The official Twitter account. Now, starting at 10, we have the Minnesota Twins, who are the top of the Central. They are 19-16. Then at number 9, we have the Astros, who are, I believe, they're third in their division, but they are 9th in this power rankings, which is kind of interesting. At 8, we got the Brewers. Now, the Brewers also haven't been very good. They're 19-15. At 7, the Rangers, who started off hot and kind of continuing it. They're ahead in the American League West. At 6, the Red Sox. Now, last week, the Red Sox were, I believe, 18-4, or no, they were like 15-14 or something like that. And I believe they went on a 7 or something 6-game win streak. So they're now 21-15. And the Yankees are now the bottom of that division. Then we have the number 5. We have the Dodgers. Like I said, they're kind of back on track. Number 4, the Blue Jays. And number 3, the Orioles. So both teams from the American League East there. The second and third team are in the top 10 of the power rankings. Number 2, the Braves. And number 1, the Rays. So it'll be interesting to see. Braves have a good bit of injuries right now and are still just killing teams somehow, especially good teams. Like I said, they played the Orioles, who were the 3rd team on that power rankings list. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Braves looking good, especially right now. And also the Rays, of course, somehow still 28-7. That's just a wild record. All right, moving on to the NBA.
Nope.
You're right. Moving on to soccer. All right, so we got a few different things to discuss. We'll start off with the relegation battle, since that's kind of what has gone on today and going on at this very moment. So In the Premier League, right now, the bottom three teams are Leeds United, Nottingham Forest, and Southampton. At this very moment, Nottingham Forest and Southampton are playing earlier
My God,
today.
they have 7 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah.
God.
Earlier today, Fulham played Leicester, and then Everton played Brighton. So a bunch of teams that are in the zone in the bottom 4 or 5 teams. So Everton going into today was 19th. They needed a win.
Mm-hmm.
They played Brighton, who has been really good this season. Everton won 5-1. So that puts them now at 16th in the table, two spots above the relegation zone, 2 points up on Leicester, Leeds, and Forest. But that is about to change in about 5 minutes. As we speak, Nottingham Forest up 4-2 on Southampton, assuming there's not an epic collapse in the last 4 minutes of this game. Then Nottingham Forest will jump up to the 16th spot. Everton will be back down to 17, Leicester 18, and Leeds 19. Now, Southampton, they're basically done. It would take some major wins. They needed to beat Nottingham Forest today. Not looking like it's going to happen. They
Southampton gave us the one thing they needed to, and his name is Virgil van Dijk. That's it.
Exactly.
They don't need to do anything else.
So they have 3 games left: Fulham, Brighton, and Liverpool. I'd be surprised if they won any of those. And then, so looking at the rest of the teams in the picture, which would be Everton, Leicester City, Leeds United, and Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham Forest will be the top of those teams once this game goes final. Everton at 32 points, and then Leicester and Leeds sitting in the relegation zone with 30 points. Now, Leicester, they lost today 5-3 to Fulham. So let's look ahead to this weekend. Leeds plays a very good Newcastle United team. I'm just going to say not looking good for Leeds. I'd be shocked if they somehow make it out of this, sadly, for the Americans on that team, because they do have 3 American players. Nottingham Forest.
Too many.
Nottingham Forest plays against Chelsea on Saturday. That's a hit or miss. Chelsea, if they are playing like they have been, then Nottingham Forest has a good chance to possibly get a point at least. Then, who else was there? Southampton, like I said, plays Fulham. I'm going to go ahead and just eliminate them. Oh, no. Everton has Man City on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's rough. And Leicester plays Liverpool next Monday. So looking at those, it's looking good for, I would say, Nottingham Forest. The rest of the teams, none of them really have a good matchup coming up. So it's still wide open, I'd say, as far as Leeds, Leicester, Everton, which one of those 3 teams can survive. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Then looking at Arsenal. Now, Man City still has a game left in hand, but Arsenal had a big win on Sunday, beating Newcastle 2-0. Newcastle is a pretty good team, and that was a big win for them. And let's see, coming up, Arsenal has Brighton on Sunday, who is not bad, but they did just get lost. They did just lose to Leicester. Hold on. Southampton's taking a penalty. 4-3. You're way ahead of me. 4-3.
Yeah, I am.
I don't know why. There we go.
There's
Anyway,
1 minute left for me.
Yeah, I just fixed mine to where it was like that. All right. So looking at that, Arsenal needs Man City to lose to Everton. I wouldn't put much faith in that one. So right now, Arsenal needs some miracles to stay in it, but never say never. It is not over. Now, the biggest race, in my opinion, besides the relegation one, because that one's got 4 or 5 teams in it, is Manchester United and Liverpool. So with a game in hand, meaning Liverpool has played 35 games, Man United has 34, so Man United has an extra game left. Man United's up 1 point on Liverpool. So it is going to come down to, can Man United win the rest of their games, and can Liverpool win the rest of their games? They need Man U to lose 1 at least, and I think draw another to get in order to catch up to them. And the importance of that is that 4 spot is the last Champions League place. So whoever gets that, Man U or Liverpool, will be the Champions League. Yes, that's why
that
it's
was
so
my
important.
question.
Yeah, that's why it's so important who gets 4th, because that is the last Champions League spot. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks with that. Manchester United, let's see who they play this week. like I said, Liverpool plays Leicester, and Man U has the Wolves. So honestly, both teams should win that. We're gonna hope Man U chokes. All right, now moving on to the NBA.
We are, and I do want to take this moment to say we talked about it before we started recording, and we have literally forgotten to do the sounds.
I know. I thought about it just a minute ago. Wait.
Time for the NBA. So, to start us off, some sad news out of Milwaukee. The Bucks fire Budenholzer. They got bounced in the first round to the Heat. A really weird firing, in my opinion, just because the Bucks basically played the entire series without possibly the best player in the NBA right now. Coach Budenholzer also lost his brother in a car crash during the series. And on top of that, 2 years ago, which is not that long ago, won a championship. So an interesting strategy by the Bucks, but that's what they have decided to do. So whoever will be coaching the Bucks next year could possibly have a lot of fun because they have Giannis. So who knows? I think I've seen Nick Nurse a little bit, but that's been it as far as who to take over that role. Before we talk about the playoff, yeah, go ahead.
I think that is the stupidest thing. Why would you fire him? That makes no sense. That is so dumb.
I don't know. Like I said, you played round one without Giannis because he was hurt.
Yeah.
So that alone should warrant a okay, we understand type situation.
Yeah, that's but
horrible. You know, I don't know. I mean, besides Giannis, I really don't think that team is that great. But I'm not in the NBA front office for a reason, I guess. Before we get into the playoffs, I do want to touch on two other things. One, there is a teeny bit of a conspiracy right now with the rookie team voting. So it seems that the Thunder's Jalen Williams was robbed of a unanimous all-rookie first-team vote. Here's how it supposedly happened. Don't know. It could be all right, and it happened on purpose. But here we go. The Thunder have two players on their team, both of which are rookies.
Oh, yeah.
Both named Jalen Williams. One is spelled J-A-L-E-N. The other is J-A-Y-L-I-N. So the votes that came in today had Jalen Williams with an E getting 99 votes to make the all-rookie first team, and Jalen Williams with a Y getting 1 vote. So it seems that somebody may have accidentally misplaced their vote there for a second, which really sucks because he could have had a unanimous rookie team. What are you reacting to right now?
Okay, Southampton.
Because I just turned around and nothing's happened.
They're in the 100th minute and they have a corner. Hold on. Let's see. I want to see what happens here. I don't know why he hasn't blown the whistle. There it goes. Game.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, it seems that he was robbed from a unanimous rookie first team because somebody didn't know how to spell his name, which really sucks.
If that's true, that's crazy.
I know. It just sucks. But also the fact that the Thunder have two rookies, both named Jalen Williams,
is that insane.
Yeah. But I mean, they have all those picks, so why not? And the other piece of news, I learned this from my NBA podcast I listen to, Horse Hoops. The Suns and Mercury are toying with possibly putting their games, all their games during the regular season for free on TV, which I think everybody should do. But what are your thoughts on this?
I actually saw a TikTok about that the other day. And they said basically the more viewers that they would get from just watching it, seeing it on local TV, and the more popularity it would attract, people would start actually watching the Suns game, becomes bigger fans because they actually get to see all the games instead of not having the channel and all this stuff, where it would actually end up making them more money than having to get the networks to buy the games or whatever. And I don't see why that's just not a all-around thing. Like, nobody at this point, I don't know who has Bally Sports and all these networks.
Well, Bally
Like,
Sports is they're bankrupt anyway. Like, they're
exactly.
going out of
So
business.
it doesn't make sense at this point,
No.
that every single sport, hockey, baseball, basketball,
Mm-hmm.
all those sports, in order to watch your hometown team, you have to get these premium channels that no one wants. They're not even good
Yep.
quality. Like, they're
Yep.
trash. And this should be the norm.
And see, this is something that we have seen happen before. The reason why the Cubs and the Braves had such a widespread fandom in the United States is because those are the two MLB teams that had all of their games just on basic cable. Anybody could watch. There are so many Braves fans up here. Like, Cubs fans make sense because we're right there, but there are so many Braves. I work with a Braves fan, and he's from Indiana. It's like, we know it works. Why would you not do it? This is why capitalism sucks. And that's all I'm going to say. All right, getting into the playoffs. Right now, we are in the middle of round 2. We had 2 games last night, and then we've got 2 tonight that I'm going to try to watch. I'm at least going to have on the laptop. So, number 1, the Heat are up 2-1. They are playing the Knicks. They play tonight at 7:30, I want to say. They'll start at 7:30, 8, one of the two. Yeah, Jimmy Butler, I believe he was out last game, but the Heat were able to still get the win, and I think he'll be back tonight. So hopefully they'll be back to normal. They can go up 3-1. Would love that.
He played last game.
He did? He was out game 2 then?
Yeah, he was out game 2.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Jimmy Butler's back, and it seems back to normal. All right, next, the other game tonight is Lakers-Warriors. Right now, the Lakers are winning 2-1. They absolutely destroyed the Warriors last game. I believe it was like 127-97 or something like that. Anytime the Warriors don't score triple digits, that's an anomaly, and somebody needs to get into Oakland right now to figure out what's happening. But that'll be tonight. It's at the Chase Center, I want to believe. Yeah. So no, it's not. The Warriors have home court. Never mind. It's at
Crypto.
It's in LA, whatever their arena is called.
Crypto.com arena.
Thank you. Yep, they'll play tonight. We'll see if Father Time and LeBron can keep going, or if the kid Steph Curry steps up again.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. There was a TikTok that's been circulating. A dog that predicts matchups. His owner throws him a basketball and he hits it with his nose into one of the baskets, either the Warriors or Lakers. It goes game by game, and so far he's gotten every game correct. And his prediction was the Lakers would go up 3-1 and the Warriors would come back and beat them. I'm just going to throw it out there. That was the dog's prediction. So do not get worried, Warriors fans, if the Lakers win this game. The dog knows what's happening.
Yes, so there's a chance that we're going to get more LeBron versus Steph. I am all down for another reverse sweep. That's how it's going to happen. In this case, it would be reversed. Oh, wow, reverse sweep. Sorry, I just blew my mind. Anyway, if I can see more LeBron and more Steph on the court at the same time, I mean, how could you not? There's literally no better basketball than that right now, and that's just how it is. All right, series that aren't being played tonight. You've got the 76ers with league MVP Joel Embiid versus the Celtics. They are tied 2-2, and they play tomorrow. Should be in Boston. Yeah.
Yes.
I think in Boston. I'm trying to remember these seed numbers. And then on the West, you've got the Nuggets versus the Suns. Again, tied 2-2. They play tomorrow, and it'll be in Denver. More on that game later. For some reason, I don't know. But yeah.
All right. I think 76ers Celtics, man. James Harden has came alive. He is back to old James Harden. What in the world has happened? Like he I feel like he had transitioned into a new role with the Sixers, of kind of like more of a facilitator, not really the scorer he had been previously. But I don't know what's happened this series to turn him back into it. But my goodness, 42 points last night in overtime. Man, it is crazy.
He wants some ring.
I mean, that's pretty. I'm pretty impressed. I won't lie. All right, moving on. There we go.
All righty.
To
Now,
women's basketball.
yes. All right. So we've got a few things. One, I'm going to mention at the start. The WNBA is starting. The preseason is in full swing. I get to go to the Fever's last preseason game. This, I believe, is the last one. But this weekend, or yes, on Saturday, they play somebody. It's preseason. Play somebody. It'll be fun to go to. I get to see Leah Boston, so I'm excited about that. But their season officially starts on the 19th, which is next Friday. I will also be at that game. And yeah, I'm excited for it. More WNBA coming up. Oh, now in the college side of things, there was one really big transfer, which we're going to talk about, but another one that I do want to touch on. Sakima Walker was the JUCO Player of the Year last season for Northwestern Florida State College. She has transferred to South Carolina. She is a center. I don't think she'll be taking Aaliyah Boston's spot. I'm pretty positive that Cordozo is going to step up into that starting role, and Sakima either would play the 4 or come off the bench at 5. But yeah, I'm excited. She was JUCO Player of the Year. How can you not be excited about that? Even though it's JUCO, she was the best player. I'm excited. South Carolina, it's looking scary right now, but we'll take wins when we get them, and that's a big one. Any thoughts on that?
Go Gamecocks.
All righty. And then the other one, which I really don't want to say. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to start off with this. Well, let me go to my bookmarks. In the last 2 seasons, there have only been 2 D1 women's players to average 20 points per game and 10 rebounds a game, playing a minimum of 40 games. Those 2 players are Angel Reese and Anisha Morrow, who are now sadly on the same team. Anisha Morrow from DePaul did transfer to Kim Mulkey and the LSU Tigers. She averaged 25.7 points per game, 12.2 rebounds per game at DePaul last season. If you're an LSU fan, you just are the happiest person in the world right now. I don't even know what to say. Just the transfers you've gotten, the depth you have on the bench, it's really looking like LSU is probably not only the favorite, but gonna run away with it, I would say, because, I mean, you just look at this team, and I don't see many teams beating them. I think we're going to struggle to beat them, if we even do. So, yeah, LSU, they're the hot team right now. They just won last season, and they're keeping their foot on the gas pedal to go back-to-back. And, I mean, in this world of transfers, how can you blame them? I would be, too. Why not? Why rebuild when you can just reload?
I mean, yeah.
So, yeah.
LSU, the new Golden State Warriors.
Man, it's crazy. Hey, what a time to be alive, though. I'm excited for it.
All right. And you have anything else about women's?
Nope. That's
all right. Moving in to men's basketball. So first set of news: Bronny James commits to USC. Now, as far as overall impacts on the college basketball world, I look at it as a Cade Cunningham to Oklahoma State, Ben Simmons to LSU kind of commitment. Like, is that enough to make them a top team in the nation? Not really. They'll be okay, pretty. I think they'll make the tournament and they'll be a pretty good team. But are they one of those top 10 teams? Probably not. But of course, it gets a lot of attention because it is Bronny James.
Yeah, like he's gonna be the guy there. And that's it. Just like Cade Cunningham was, just like Ben Simmons was.
Which I know there's actually USC. So. What I was reading is that they actually have some pretty good players. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe they do turn into a really good team, and we'll have to just wait and see how Bronny turns out. I think the interesting thing is with how old LeBron is, and the thing that's been said by LeBron is he is going to want to play wherever Bronny goes. So does that make Bronny the number 1 pick, even if he's not the best player? How much do you weigh in getting LeBron to your team? Like if like I just it's hard to say like if Charlotte let's say in 2 years Charlotte's sitting at the number 1 pick, do you want them to pick Bronny James if LeBron is guaranteed to come here?
Yeah, because you're also going to get if you pick Bronny, you're getting LeBron too.
I think if it's a smaller market team, then they 100% do it because, good Lord, the amount of ticket sales, the amount of jerseys, even if it's for a season, that you would get LeBron James.
I would say you do it if it's a weak draft class too. Like this year, if Victor, let's say Victor was next year, no way. I think you take Victor, but I don't know a single name for next year besides Bronny now. So, and that's usually how it is anyway.
It'll just be a wait and see.
Yeah.
The other piece of news was Hunter Dickinson committed to Kansas. Lots of experts are saying, could Kansas be the number 1 team? Because they do already have a good team. They added Hunter Dickinson, possibly are adding Mackenzie Mbako that they committed to Duke from Duke. He said Kansas is one of his schools he's visited. So there's a lot. Apparently, Bill Self is going all in on this year, trying to win a national championship once again. So we'll have to see on that one. But yeah, that about wraps it up for college basketball news, which leads us into our games of the week. All right, I will lead off, starting with the Champions League, Manchester City, Real Madrid, leg number 1 in Madrid. I tell you what, this one is going to be just a massive battle. Real Madrid has honestly kind of struggled in La Liga, but it really doesn't matter. When it gets to the Champions League, they just turn into a different team. Now we'll see Haaland versus Vinicius, who can score more goals. I think it's going to be an insane match. This is tomorrow at 3 on Paramount Plus. I don't know what channel it actually is on, but I know it is on Paramount Plus. That is going to be an insane game. That's just leg 1, and then next week will be leg 2. But man, I cannot wait to see how that one turns out. 2 massive heavyweights. Also on Wednesday, there is Milan versus Inter Milan. If you want to see the Milan battle, that is the other semifinal for the Champions League.
Wow, nice. All righty. Well, my game of the week is Game 5 of Nuggets Suns. That is also tomorrow. It's at 10 o'clock, so drink some coffee. Put down the Monster Energy. I think that this will probably be the pivotal game of the series. If the Suns can steal a win in Denver, they shift back to Phoenix. I think they could pick up a win there and get the number 1 seed out in 4. If not, and it's very possible they don't because the Nuggets are good. Nikola Jokic is playing out of his mind. It just came out that he is not getting suspended for Game 5, so he will be available. They could easily win. They're on home court, and if they win, all they got to do is go to Phoenix and get a win, which they can do. So I think tomorrow is going to be a huge game in that series. Whoever wins this game is going to win the series, basically.
Do you have any thoughts on the situation that happened last night between Jokic and the Suns owner?
I haven't seen it, but the Suns owner said he shouldn't get suspended.
So what happened was the ball went into the crowd, and the Suns owner grabbed it. Jokic took it out of his hands, and the Suns owner kind of put his hand on him. Then Jokic put his elbow into him, and the Suns owner was like, "Whoa!" and fell backwards. So it was nothing, but of course people had to speculate.
Well, obviously it's the NBA in the playoffs. Drama is heightened to the most exponential that it can be. Yeah. All
right. Well, I think that about wraps us up this episode of Full Sport Press. We will see you next time talking about Champions League, talking about Premier League, talking about the NBA playoffs, talking about whatever we want. Anything you want to add, Zach? That's what Zach's going to add. Goodbye from me, Zach, and Lily.